Folks, we'll get started with our friends from North Carolina. We'll have the Tar Heels in with us until the top of the hour. Coach Davis will get us started. Folks, if you would please identify yourselves and the agency that you are with, and we will get your first question rolling. We've got it right here, third row, Coach, right in the middle, to the right.
Okay. Jeremy Grandison, ESPN Charlotte, right here, Coach.
Yes.
Armando Bacot led the ACC in rebounds last season. Of course, that's a big loss for your team, but how do you plan on replacing his production, and do you still plan on having a traditional five there and maybe trying to implement more spacing in the front court?
Well, one of the things that I've said a number of times is Armando was one of one. He's not somebody that you can replace. You talked about his rebounding, which was at a historic elite level. Actually, Harrison Ingram led the ACC and ACC games in rebounding, and they were 1 and 2. And so, one of the things that, for us to be successful, we've always identified it. We've got to be a great defensive team. The second thing is we've got to be a great rebounding team. And losing Armando and Harrison, others have to step up. It's a huge part for us. I've always said it's the number one determining factor and the outcome of a game is rebounding on both ends, attacking the offensive glass as well. And so, but I'm really excited about this group, the versatility, the depth, the athleticism that allow us and put us in a position to continue to be good in terms of rebounding the basketball.
Coach, we'll stay right there just to our right in the third row.
Hey, Coach. TJ Wilkerson from the Sports Nerd Podcast.
Yeah.
One of the themes you had going into this season that I read off the News and Observer, listen to RJ, watch RJ. Can you talk about RJ Davis's transition to the leadership role from last year into this year?
Well, I mean, it's not a transition from last year to this year. RJ has been that type of leader in the 5 years that he's been here. One of the things that we talk at great length with each one of our players is for them to be elite in 3 areas: on the court, off the court, and in the classroom. And I can't think of anybody better than RJ. He's checked all 3 of those boxes for 5 straight years. But, it's, him being in his 5th year, it would be very easy. He's had a historic career, ACC Player of the Year, first team All-American. For him to stay in that spot and be disconnected with the others, and his ability to reach out and connect the 3 freshmen, the 3 transfers, the 4 walk-ons, and being able to bind us together as a team has been something that's been really special to all of us.
Coach, we'll stay on the right side, second row.
Terrence Hatchett, the Juice Network. Yeah. Coach, we heard Jim Phillips say that the perception of the league has been undervalued. Despite that, the last several years, we've seen ACC teams advance to the Final Four and even the championship game. How does ACC play prepare teams for March?
Well, I mean, I'm extremely biased. I think the ACC is the best conference in college men's basketball. I know the history of the ACC growing up in North Carolina and right outside of Washington, D.C. My uncle played in the mid-'70s here at North Carolina, and so I understand the history and the significance of being a part of this conference. And it does, for us, to be successful, one of the things that we talk about is, our non-conference schedule and being challenged in that area to prepare us for our conference. And it prepares us when we get to the NCAA tournament and different styles, unbelievable coaches, programs, history, and it puts all of us in a position to be successful in the postseason.
Coach, to your left, second row.
Yeah. Hi, Coach. Nia Satterfield-Brown, Carolina Blitz. Just wanted to ask, you have a very different group this year. What's pleased you so far about this group, and what are some areas you still need to work on heading into the season?
Yeah, I've been really pleased with this group in terms of their commitment to wanting to be a team. It's not just on the court, but off the court. It even goes to the meal room where, they will move individual tables together so everybody's sitting at one table. And I know that sounds small and insignificant, but it's of tremendous significance that for us to become a team and having a desire and a passion and a thirst to be one and to be the best that we can be. Also, something that sticks out is just the way that each one of the players has valued the gifts and talents that others have brought to the table. We always say that you have to acknowledge it, you have to celebrate it, and our guys do that every day, whether it's practice or off the court, and so that's just going to be huge for us. And I think one of the things that we're working on is in terms of our the level. It's a quieter team than last year's team, and just the importance of not having the same voice as previous teams, but for this team developing their own voice. And that'll come in time, but I really like the direction that we're going, and I'm excited for this season.
Coach, to your right, your last question will come from the fourth row right in the middle.
Hey, Hubert, Adam Smith,
Yeah.
Inside Carolina. Just want to ask you, we talked about it a little bit the other day in Chapel Hill, but with NIL and just maybe this past year, how have you seen it change just in the last year? It seems like just, it's gotten more transactional, and just what effects do you see there, and how have you maybe had to try to adapt to how it has changed recently?
Well, I think, and you're right, there has been changes and things have, in terms of NIL and the transfer portal. I've talked about in the 4 years that I've been head coach, it's been the explosion of the transfer portal, NIL, the involvement of agents on the backside of a pandemic. So there's been, and you've added 3 more teams to the ACC. So there's been some change in the last 4 years. I would probably say the biggest difference in regards to NIL right now is the involvement of agents. That was something that wasn't really present at the beginning, and now it is. And so there's conversations not only with the recruit, with the family, but also with the agent. And when that happens, it does become a little bit more transactional. But recruiting is recruiting, whether it's coming from the high school or the transfer portal, and getting guys like Seth and RJ that have a commitment to this university and this program, and understanding that it's not just on the court, but it's in other areas in the community and also in the classroom.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
You can switch with our